Yo, what is up, guys? Vincenzo from home of Milan coming back at you once again. Furthermore, today we got a lot to get through. The game versus Rennes in the Europa League, and also the loss versus Monza in Serie A, and also previewing the next game in Europa League and the game versus Atalanta in the Serie A. Make sure you guys check us out on all of our socials at Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and bunches, all at home of Milan. Without any further ado, guys, let's jump into this. For the game versus Rennes in the Europa League, I couldn't have been more wrong. Out the gate, we were creating loads of chances, but Rennes were just moving the ball very well, and I was impressed at times, to be honest. And half an hour into the match, we took the lead as Florenzi put in a beautiful cross into the area, and Loftus-Cheek heads the ball into the bottom corner, giving us the 1-0. And this was the first time, at least, that Milan were controlling a half of football convincingly, creating chances, putting away opportunities. And in the opening 2 minutes of the new half, Teo whips in a cross, which is flicked on by Kier, and guess who's there for the header? Ruben Loftus-Cheek for his second goal of the game. And in the span from 2019 to 2022, Loftus-Cheek has scored 3 goals for Chelsea, and now with us, he scored 6. So he's been on some great form, flourishing at Milan, and it's just fantastic to see a player like Loftus-Cheek doing well. A little under the hour mark, our left-hand side combined for another fabulous goal with Rafa Leao does a beautiful backheel pass, and Teo Hernandez finds Rafa once more and hits it into the top right corner first time, which was Leao's first goal in a very, very, very long time. So super great to see him score, and you just saw the relief that his face showed once he scored the goal, yelling, screaming, and stuff like that. And this was also a massive goal for Leao because this was his 50th for Milan, so that's absolutely big for him. And from there, Milan really were just in cruise control. It was super nice, closing out the game convincingly and taking a 3-goal lead into the next leg. Let's just go to tops and flops straight away. Top for me has to be Loftus-Cheek, scoring 2 goals, taking his chances as well, and just overall playing a very convincing game of football, and just being overall effective in a position which last week I said didn't really suit him well. I thought he was just very lethargic at times, being in that sort of position, but he clearly proved me wrong. I'm going to give him the top for this video. So I'm hoping that this is, some great things to come for Loftus-Cheek. And flop, I'm going to say Pulisic, just because I felt like we're seeing a bit of a drop off from him, and he hasn't really been playing great in certain games, and he just hasn't really gotten rest, right? Because of Chukwueze, he's been gone for AFCON, so Pulisic has been playing a lot of games, consistently, a lot of minutes on those legs, so maybe it's just healthy for him to get some rotation, but I've just felt like he really wasn't effective in this match, so therefore he's going to be my flop. So I think it's super big that we're going into the next leg with a 3-goal lead. Obviously, we go away to Rennes in the next leg, which is on Thursday. And I think this is absolutely massive because we can do one of two things. Either we can, put out a starting 11 and really kind of just cement our spot in the next leg, or we can maybe, spare a couple starters and play a B team, maybe just win the game out 1-0, which I feel like we're going to do. I feel like we'll put out somewhat of a B team because of our next game in the league, which is against Atalanta. So I think we will play a lot of bench guys and not that many starters just so that they can rest for Atalanta. Let's move on to the next game versus Monza in the Serie A, which was an absolute disaster and a must-win game to see us climb to second place. Juve dropped points, and we were expecting a big game from Milan, either a statement win or kind of just a very convincing win for us to get through. And I seen on Twitter and all the other socials, people predicting wins, like myself. And we've seen a lot of changes in the lineup, like Chukwueze going in for the first time since coming back from AFCON. We also saw Okafor, Jovic, and Malik Thiaw getting his first start from an injury 3 months ago, and Milan creating some half chances, but nothing threatening at all going forward from the front three. Okafor absolutely ghosted, Jovic not doing much, then having a header that was pretty decent, and obviously Chukwueze not creating any chances either. But time stopped because of the injury for Monza's goalkeeper Di Gregorio after a collision, and shortly after the game resumed, Thiaw makes the most reckless tackle ever. He did not have to put in that challenge at all. There was zero threat going in. I felt like Florenzi kind of had that covered, but he makes a challenge, right? And ref says play on because it's a terrible tackle. And ref says play on. And then Thiaw just kind of tracks the person with the ball and makes another clumsy tackle, and we concede a penalty kick. And of course, Monza convert their penalty to go up 1-0. And at that point, I was kind of, okay, it's just 1-0 off of a penalty, whatever. I think we'll start cooking, later into the game, right? Because there's just so much more added time, right? I think there was 8 minutes added time from that half. And Monza from there just start smelling blood and caught us out on the counterattack. And Kolpani does very well to beat Malik Thiaw with a bit of skill. And it's Danny Motta who scores an absolute fantastic goal, in my opinion, and puts Monza up 2-0 at the break. So going into 2-0 after two very easy goals to stop, I feel like we're absolutely shot at halftime. I feel like at that point, it's going to be very hard to come back from a game like this. And I feel like we just haven't learned from our mistakes. We concede way too many goals in every game. We're conceding almost 2 to 3 goals a game. Against Frosinone, we conceded 3. And then against Salernitana, we conceded 2. Against Udinese, we conceded 2. So we're conceding so many goals, and we expect to win the game after. And it's just never going to happen. It's so rare when these type of games, like the Udinese game, like the Frosinone game, it's so hard to get back into the game. And somehow with those two games, we completed it. But in this game, we tried to, bring back the magic that we had in those games. And it's just not going to happen. And things go from bad to worse as 6 minutes into the second half. Luka Jovic, for all the praises he's been getting, for all the great performances he's been putting in for us, he does the most stupid thing in the world, and he just slaps a player across the face after being pushed. And that we're 2-0 down, so you put your team in a spot that's going to put them in a more deeper hole than they're already in, right? He gets sent off, and now from then, we're playing with 10 men. However, once the substitutes come on, you see that they made a little bit of a difference going forward, right? We took out Okafor, we took out Chukwueze, and obviously Jovic gets sent off, so we have to compensate in that sort of way. It's a cross in from the right side, and Pulisic does well to get the flick onto Giroud, and Giroud taps it in to get us 2-1, potentially back into the game. And I think from there, I feel like we really started to kind of wake up a little bit, and that's goal number 12 for Olivier Giroud. So it proves once again that he's decisive in front of goal, and Pulisic did well to get ahead on it. The pendulum was definitely swinging in Milan's favor, and we kept being aggressive, constantly giving Pulisic the ball because Leao just was not up to it this game. I felt like he never really turned up the speed like he usually does. I feel like he was kind of half awake or something like that. He just did not want to play this game, and it was clearly so because we just kept feeding the ball to Pulisic, who was just our main threat, and what seemed like a miracle to cut in on his left and scored a fantastic goal with the shot going into the top left corner. The keeper had no chance to get it, and I think from that moment, I feel like a lot of us started to think maybe we can come back. Maybe we can get back into this match despite us being down 10 men. But it was on the defensive end which the team let us down today, because 2 minutes after Pulisic scored a miracle goal, right, to potentially either get us the draw or maybe potentially get us the win, Monza take the game into their hands, and it's Bondo who scores a fabulous goal himself to give Monza the 3-2 lead in the 90th minute. And from there, you just see everybody's head drop. And from there, Lorenzo Colombo, who puts the nail in the coffin, sends us packing with a 4-2 loss, ending our 6-game run. And it's a shame because at a time where maybe some of us believed we could grab the winner, the team defensively just let us down today, right? This, in my opinion, this does not come down to Pioli. This does not come down to the management. This was strictly a player defensive error for all the goals. For all the goals. The defense was absolutely atrocious today, making so many mistakes into clumsy challenges, into poor decisions, while marking. That's what cost us the game. And you saw the frustration in Pioli, right? He was throwing water bottles and stuff. You don't really see that from Pioli. He's a very, composed manager, doesn't really show a lot of emotion, right? In terms of like frustration. And for me, I'm giving Pioli his flowers because he made the proper substitutions to get us back into the game. And to be fair, despite us being down 10 men, we did get back into the game and we did get that equalizer goal to bring back 1 point that would see us tied on points with Juve, or I think, just 1 point behind. But regardless, we would have lost, we would have dropped points. But instead, we take home 0 points. Jovic ruined it because I think if we had 11 players on the pitch, I think we would have played a lot more fluid and a lot more threatening going forward. But having that handicap of playing with only 10 players really brought us down today. And I think not only that, but defensively, we were atrocious. Also, with the talk of the day being that Milan would go into second place, which would really propel our season, in my opinion, and give us some confidence going forward. Let's just go to tops and flops. Top, I'm going to say Christian Pulisic, because he had a hand in the assist and he scored a great goal coming off of the bench. And after seeing Chukwueze do literally nothing the whole game, we see the importance that Pulisic brings and the quality, despite having some poor games recently. I feel like he did well to really come back from that. And ironically, he was my Europa League game flop of the match. So today he is going to be my top. Flop, it's between 3 players, in my opinion. It's between Luka Jovic, Mike Maignan, and Malik Thiaw. And I might just choose all 3 of them because Jovic sabotages the team by getting a silly red card, being down 2-0. Malik Thiaw plays a massive role in conceding the first 2 goals and possibly has blood on his hands for the rest as well. And Mike, once again, getting beat at his near post and not making these crucial saves in which we need him to make. And I feel like the defense is really, doubling down on the fact that Tomori is going to come back in and kind of solve all of our problems, which I do not think that's going to happen because I think, being a defensive unit, everyone has to play a part in it, obviously. Tomori is a guaranteed starter, and obviously Gabbia has been playing some great games recently, so maybe Malik Thiaw with this performance just lost his spot to Gabbia. Gabbia had 0 help today. I feel like he was probably the best out of the defense. We all know Tomori is a guaranteed starter, so maybe Malik Thiaw just lost his starting spot. And obviously with this loss, it's not the end of the world because we are still in 3rd place, despite us losing terribly today. We're on a great run. Great runs always come to an end. So I'm glad it kind of happened now than later, maybe because then once, we're all high up and mighty, then our confidence gets shot up against a big team like Inter or something like that, right? Even though this was a must-grab 3 points to see us really, grab the league standings in by the scruff of the neck. I feel like we definitely did fumble the bag here, but I feel like going forward, this doesn't really hurt our season. But, we're still in 3rd place. I think we still got a great cushion up above the team below us. That leads on to the next game, which is super important versus Atalanta in the league. Big because with how we played up against Monza defensively, I think we're going to get absolutely killed by Atalanta. They've been on some tremendous form themselves, obviously with a lot of their players playing at a top level. Cope Miners, De Catalare has been the talk of the town recently. Obviously, Pasalic is always a threat going forward. But I'm still going to stay optimistic, and I think we're going to get a draw, which doesn't hurt us with our big cushion in the league, even though we could have really taken a big leap forward if we did beat Monza. But obviously, all great things come to an end. But yeah, I think we are going to get a draw here. I'd say maybe a 1-1 or a 2-2, to be honest. With how many goals that we concede and leak out the back. So that's what I'm going to say for my prediction. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. And I want to know what you guys think about the whole Monza game and the whole situation. How, the team played defensively. I think it was absolutely terrible. I want to know what you guys think in the comment section below. Make sure you guys get involved on all of our socials. And make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao ragazzi.